Bob Thompson, you have a beautiful 1958 Edsel. You don't see these every day. Where'd this come from?
It came from Alberta.
So you're from Alberta?
I'm from Alberta, just northwest of Edmonton, Mayerthorpe, Alberta. And we live there about 6-7 months out of the year, and we live the other in Quartzsite, Arizona.
So 58 Edsel, what made you decide that you wanted that over a 57 Chev or a 32 Ford or things that are more traditional thought of as car guys' cars?
Well, my ideal car, and I had one, was a 57 Ford, but I couldn't find another one, and my only other choice was a 58 Edsel. I've had 56 Ford half-tons and a lot of Ford products, mostly Fords, but this was one of my favorite cars.
The car scene here in Lake Havasu City, Arizona seems to be really strong, real active. How does it compare with the Canadian scene where you were in your area?
We're very active up there. We have upwards of 300 to 500 cars at some big shows up there, but ordinary show, there'll be 70 to 90 to 100 cars at an ordinary show in Shine.
And it's very cold here today. Do you have anything to do with that? Did you bring that down from Canada?
I hope you don't blame me for that, probably because they're having a blizzard there right now.
58 Edsels have taken, I think when Edsels, everybody knows, when they first came out there was a lot of interest in them, and then they took a real nosedive because the styling was just too far ahead or too different. And then as time went by, suddenly everybody decided, or a lot of people decided that, hey, these things are pretty cool, they're so different. You get reaction from people that way, or some people still think the car is real bizarre looking?
You get both reactions. They were just way ahead of their time at the time, but they had a few mechanical problems which we overcame, but that was their downfall. They're basically a Ford product. They're built on a Ford frame, Ford engine, everything, but they had problems with shifting of the transmission. It was a terrible thing. It kept falling up all the time and falling to pieces and whatnot. But a lot of people can relate to the Edsel. Well, I've had about 6 people come at this show alone and say, you know, my uncle or my dad had an Edsel. And the fella just talked to me a while ago, and he said, man, I used to work at a service station. I used to drive a lot of Edsels, jockeying them back and forth. So everybody relates to an Edsel, and I don't know why.
Didn't they tweak the motors on these just a little bit so they could say they had a higher output than the Fords?
It's yes and no. It depends. There was different motors put into them. This engine is original, and it's actually a truck engine. It's a 361, and it's got 400 pounds torque, and it's right on the tappet covers. So they might have tweaked them. I'm not aware of that they did anything special to them. They just put different engines in them.
Well, right there, instead of a 360, it's a 361. So
it's a heavier bottom end in that. It's made basically for trucks.
Finding parts for an Edsel, a lot of suppliers out there, or is it still a little bit of a challenge?
It's quite a challenge, yeah. I needed some taillight lenses, and I had to get them out of Florida about a month ago.
Was it built in Alberta or a Canadian-built Edsel?
No, San Jose. This one was built in San Jose, California.
I have one question. This is kind of a burning question that a lot of the viewers have. I notice a lot of Canadians, they'll cross the border, they'll come down here to car shows, and they'll do 2 things. They'll take our trophies and they'll take our women, and then they'll sneak back across the border in the dead of night. What's up with that?
I don't know. Can't blame them for that. I don't know. They're just like shining knights in armor. They sneak in and back out again, I guess.
I have yet to meet a woman that can resist a Canadian. So thank you, Robert. Thank you very much for being on the Vintage Vehicle Show.
Thank you, sir.